And we'll start in the only way we know on a Tuesday with the legend that is Matt Vickers, Deputy Chairman of a Tory party, who are smiling a little bit this morning, aren't you?
Good morning. All good, all good. Although it does feel like this Mandelson stuff, it goes on and on and on, and it's just, yeah.
Can I ask you a question as an MP, right? We've heard that the alleged charge could be, will be, might be passing secret government information. Everybody I speak to, even on the Labour benches, says, we've known what a toe rag, why people wouldn't go near him. You've just seen a clip from Starmer not a year ago. He must have known what was going on. Why has Peter Mandelson got away with it for so long? And more importantly, what does it say about Keir Starmer?
He's an absolute rotter, though, isn't he? I mean, the guy was sacked from office. We had the loans issue, we had the dishing out of the passport stuff, resigned from office several times over. Starmer thinks it's a good thing to bring him back. We then get the confession from Starmer about the fact he knew that the guy was linked up with Epstein even after he'd been charged. The thing is stinking, absolutely stinking. But then, I mean, if you were looking at this from the outside, I've said it before, I'd say it again, if you were looking at this from the outside and we didn't have the evidence, we hadn't seen it all, you would assume that this was some, like, nutty conspiracy. The royal family linked to this, senior members of the government linked to this vile, evil paedophile, but it's not even his links to a sick pedo, it's the fact he was giving away government documents, giving away information.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. He's under investigation.
Investigation, allegedly. Keir Starmer, you know that clip I played about, we know him as Peter? This was him in the Commons backing him as well. Play this one.
The ambassador has repeatedly expressed his deep regret for his association with him. He's right to do so. I have confidence in him, and he's playing an important role in the UK-US relationship.
Not going to play such an important role if he's in... I love the headline. What on Cam? Porridge for Pete. He's going to have a hard time in prison, isn't he? Let's just move on. If he goes to prison,
he deserves a hard time in prison.
Well, I keep saying this, right? I keep saying this, and people laugh at me. How much does he have on them? Because to have even got back to that job, or any job, with the character and the background that Peter Mandelson has got, he must have loads on all of them. That's what I reckon. He'll squeal like a pig.
The other unbelievable bit of
I just like, if you just tuned in, it's not because he's going to be in prison.
They've got away with it for how long? Like, this wasn't last year, it wasn't the year before, this is decades of these guys have got away with what they've been up to. It's finally coming out all this time down the line. How have they got away with it for so long? They're in it up to the necks.
And also the other story about Andy this morning, page 5 of The Sun. Rub down for Andy. Oh, God, The Sun is so fantastic. Rub down for Andy. Taxpayer messages. Disgraced Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor used taxpayers' money for massages whilst working as the UK's trade envoy. Ex-civil servants claim. Ex-civil servants only now. We were paying for him to be rubbed up. I mean, the whole thing. It's not been a happy ending there, has it? Well, I'm sorry about that. I can't possibly not do that all morning.
As a royalist, all of the things that people criticise these entitled people about, you kind of argue, no, there was a role for the royal family, you defend the Queen, you defend the King, and then this guy just lets the side down, doesn't he?
But
unbelievable level.
I agree with you, but I do think, and I said it yesterday, and this is me being quite serious as a royalist, I think there are massive questions to answer. I'm glad the Queen is no longer here. She will always be an icon to me, but I have to tell you, the way that she treated him, the way that she let him get away with his behaviour is being questioned. How much Charles knew, but more than that, and all the people who say, oh, it'll be fine, the British monarchy has never been in such a perilous state. I genuinely believe that. Yeah. I don't know what they're supposed to do to get it back, but it's important.
I mean, I still think the Queen's amazing. She's not here to ever account for it. So
she paid for my education, of course. But I'm not. The point of the matter is, if your mum gave you 12 million quid, she'd ask you what it was for, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
And I'm not having
She's
a go
not
at
here
her.
to defend herself, so we can't. But I think you're right. I think if she'd still been here to live through this, I think she would be absolutely devastated by what this means for the royal family. I still think that the country believes in the royal family. I still think that this guy is one vile, sick individual who can land wherever he might have landed, and this time he happens to have landed in the royal family.
But you know, 2019, this was proven in the Mail on Sunday by Isabel Oakeshott over the weekend, proves that Charles and the Queen knew in 2019. Charles was telling... It was... Here's the bit I love. Mandelson was behind his appointment as the trade envoy because he was business secretary. So it's just jobs for the boys, isn't it?
The entire thing... the royal family, the top level of government, the most prestigious diplomatic post around, and they are linked up with this vile, awful character.
What does it say about Keir Starmer's judgment, though? Mandelson, seriously.
Well, the thing is, it's a pattern of behaviour, isn't it? We've got the Mandelson story. He appoints this guy, knowing full well, he's confessed at the dispatch box, he knew about the links with Epstein and Mandelson after he was charged. And then you've got the Matthew Doyle story.
Yeah.
Guy who worked at Number 10 as his comms director, appointed to the House of Lords, now turns out he is linked up with a paedophile, and it understood that Starmer knew when he appointed him. How can we have that going on at Number 10? How can these people, a guy who is running the country, is able to make the decision to appoint people he knows are linked up with some of the most vile, sick people on earth?
And I never understand, you know this... They said the wrong words. You know all this stuff about, human rights. It's all about human rights. Let's give away Chagos. Let's make sure we do right by the world. Let's look good in the world. But you're happy to give peerages and jobs to people who are associated with child abuse, yeah? Where's your human rights there? This is what I don't understand, and I'll make it a bigger discussion about the grooming gangs inquiry. It will drive me insane forever. Tomorrow, by the way, Maggie Oliver, an exclusive on this show, because, hold on a minute, you go on, Keir Starmer, about how it's important that we treat people properly. I'm into diversity and equality. What about the girls that were raped? What about the kids that were abused by Jeffrey Epstein and his mates, of which one of them is a man you gave a job to knowing he had those links? I think his judgment, I think he should be... I can't have
the
it.
horror stories, but the thing becomes remote, actually. That is what it's all about. It's about the victims, what they've gone through.
Yeah.
But it becomes remote because we start looking at how horrific it is that these guys are getting appointed, and the people appointing them know about the link. But actually, it comes down to what went on. What that vile creature did to those girls is just beyond the pale.
0344 499 1000. Get your voice notes in nice and early to Christian. He's in white today. I don't know what that means. You can also get a text in. Damien, or G-Spot, as we call him, because we can never find him. He's looking full of beans today. 87222. This is a question I wanted to put to you. Jeff, spot on. Has anybody heard of Pete from the creator of Lord Mandelson? The one and only Tony Blair? I wonder why. It's not just Starmer's judgment, it's the whole of bloody New Labour, their project for the last 30 years. When I say squeal, I'm not pointing fingers, you have to wonder. Gordon Brown came out, I think, to defend his own position, not a peep from Blair.
Well, there's a documentary being released, isn't there, at the minute, about Blair, the Blair years and the Blair story, whatever it is, just come out on Channel 4. And at the end, because Mandelson features in it, and he's brown-nosing Blair and saying how great Blair is and giving you the...
Brown-nose, that's since the playground. It's brilliant.
Well, they've had to add a line into the end of the documentary, each episode saying, this was all filmed before we knew what Mandelson was up to, effectively, so as not to...
I wonder if he's got stuff on Blair. I'm being serious. If he is facing a prison sentence, will he bleat? It's Andrew, Mountbatten-Windsor, the massages. It's Lord Mandelson languishing in a cell. And this is James. Good morning.
Good morning, Jezza. Now, if anyone tells me that the Queen and the King didn't know what he was up to, that's absolute bull. Sorry, but that's absolute BS. Once this stuff gets deeper and deeper, disgusting stuff, they will throw him under the bus because obviously they need to keep their monarchy going. To me, Jezza, I can't stand the royal family. I've never liked them and never will do. We don't need a royal family, Jezza. They're all benefit scroungers, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not a royalist. I never will be. Anyway, Jeremy, keep up the good work that you're doing. I really enjoy listening to you in the morning.
Brilliant. Listen, that's the beauty, by the way, of this show. We can disagree. I'm not a Republic, I'm a royalist, and I fear for the royal family. I can say to that man with the hand on my heart, up to 10, 15 years ago, the money that the royal family brought into this country and this economy by selling UK PLC far dwarfs anything. You think of what a president costs, but I completely get, and anybody that's a royalist who doesn't accept this, Matty, they are in a precarious position because the public, I said it to Cam downstairs earlier who made a really good point, there's just a lack of trust, man. There's a lack of trust in so many parts of the establishments, politics, religion, the royal family, and you go, what is true? How many people have been feathering their own nests for years, Yeah,
I mean, these huge, privileged, honoured positions and opportunities like Mandelson, like Andrew, put there, I mean, the case of Mandelson, knowing the right people, scratching the right backs, ends up in this post, and then for all of the pretense, all the things people might think could be the worst possible outcome, there it is, it's real, it happened. These people have those awful links with those sick characters.
Have you been to Solihull? It's the posh part of Birmingham.
I've not been to Solihull.
People get out the bath to have a wee in Solihull. Morning, Clive. Great show as ever, JK. I noticed Lord Mandy has been bailed, but Andrew was released under investigation. Not sure what the difference is. Do you know what the difference is?
Well, they're still both being investigated.
I know, but doesn't the bail thing mean it's more solidified? Does it not mean... I think Randy Man... No, that's Andy. What are we calling... I want to play that song. Oh, Mandy, will you... Anyway, he's in trouble. Morning, Jez. The thing about Mandy is they all supported him. Starmer Streeting, Blair Brown, all the lefty loons, Stephen in Belfast. Wes Streeting's gone very quiet, hasn't he?
I think the thing with Mandelson, he's been around the block so long amongst them all. He is linked to all of these characters who are now at the helm of the Labour Party, all the people who have been at the helm for however long. He was the guy who they wanted to get on with because they thought not only could they dish him a job, he could dish out jobs to them. I think Wes Streeting's probably in very serious trouble. He's very much linked to him. Well, we saw the kissy text and what have you.
Don't you do kissy text to Kemi Badenoch?
Oh,
do you?
I'll send you one when I get out. I'll see how it goes down.
Kiss. Just been with Jessica, me love you. See you later. Morning to Damon from Wigan. Morning, gang. Oh, you're included. This episode with Mandelson and Andrew is such a massive stain on our once great country. How can we trust any politician or official in very high office? And I don't believe this will ever stop with Mandelson and Andrew. The world must be disgusted with this country at present. Sort of agree with that. I really do agree with that. And I keep bringing it back, and every day we think, we can move on. Right? And there are other news stories today. It is 4 years since Ukraine was invaded. We are going to be talking about that terrible story of the Nottingham killer released because of the colour of his skin. But every single newspaper, things can only get sweatier. Mandelson, Andrew. Now Mandelson faces the music on the front of the Daily Mail. Mandelson arrested on the front of the Telegraph. It's literally everywhere. But him, Andrew's so easy to just imagine you're in the pub. He's not what I'm trying to say. But Mandelson, how much does he know? How much has he got? How deep does this go?
Well, I mean, the other part of it is you saw that PMQs the other week where Kemi lanced Starmer over this. He fessed up.
I was going to ask you, were you lot surprised on the Tory benches when I did know? Because there was an audible gasp from the House of Commons.
Well, the other bit that kind of got a bit lost because they bottled it. But that afternoon, after he'd confessed that at the dispatch box, was then a humble address because they were trying to prevent publishing all the materials they had on the vetting. The fact that Starmer was going to send those MPs through a lobby to vote to cover up documents that will expose all this, it's just absolutely rotten. It stinks. There should have been no second thought as to him handing over all this material.
Well, that material actually,
this
is in the news as well today because Darren Jones, the Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister, whatever, says that these documents will soon be released. This is going to put pressure, like the Epstein files with Trump. They need to get those out. Of course, he was going to stand up and go, "Well, we'll decide which ones to release." No, you bloody well won't, because it's a cover-up. But I will say one thing which I didn't think I was going to say. I've been super critical of the police in the last few months, and quite rightly, I think, when you can't find one and you can't report a crime. I think they've got these two things right, and I think that anybody I think that anybody who knows anything is definitely going to have their collar felt, and I think that's a great thing.
Well, the one thing that will happen at the end of this, hopefully, is that people will see justice happens. No matter who you are, these guys are going to be held to account. He's going to see real consequences for what they've done.
Your boss stepped up to the plate yesterday. No mention of you. Morning, Kemi. Brilliant.
This is the defining moment of Keir Starmer's premiership. Watching the man who he appointed to the highest position in our diplomatic service getting arrested by police, I think, is an image that's going to stay with all of us for many, many years to come. And when people think about Keir Starmer and his premiership, they will see the arrest of Peter Mandelson as the defining moment. I think that the fact that I asked him if he had full confidence in Peter Mandelson just a few months ago, and he said yes, despite all of these allegations being known, only to see the man arrested shows that the Prime Minister has a terrible judgment. He's weak. He could have done more. He has not released the information around the files. Instead, he sacked the person who was supposed to be overseeing the release. I think that shows what kind of person the Prime Minister is.
She's not wrong, is she? We have to obviously make the point repeatedly throughout the morning. You know, when you are arrested until you are charged and found guilty, then that's the case. This is an ongoing investigation, both for Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and for Peter Mandelson. But pretty strong words from Kemi Badenoch there.
She's spot on as ever. And actually, when
Stop
you think
trying to get a promotion. She's spot on as ever, is she?
She is.
No,
she is. But
she
the
is
reality
there, yeah.
is, if it weren't for her knocking hell out of him at PMQs, if it wasn't for that vote forcing these documents to be released, we might not be seeing it. He might be getting away with more stuff. He might be able to hide more of this stuff. The reality is she's holding him to account. She's doing the business. She should be number 10. She'd sort this out.
Oh, he's making a case. 03